All right, North Florida high school football fans, welcome to another edition of the Extra Point. I'm here with my full squad. Joining me today, I got Coach Cofield and Andrew Jupe. It's time to get into some high school football in the area. Man, over the weekend, big wins by Florida A&M over Alabama State. It was fun to watch that game because I felt like the last time they were there at ASU, I actually went to that game. So
Really?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. I took my family and everything, had a good time. And you remember how it ended with the I think it was an interception return for a touchdown. And then this game, it was, and it's the same player. I can't recall his name, but he got the fumble recovery to put this game out of reach. So,
yeah.
And now we call it Talabama.
I'm not talking about the other team. I might have to go there one day. I'm not going to talk about it. I had a player, coach played linebacker for them.
The funniest thing was the belt. The belt at the end of the game.
A belt? I need to call him as a played linebacker for him. I need to call him. I forgot because he didn't go to FAM. He ended up going to Alabama State over his whole defensive coordinator like they had a fit.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I wish I could say the same for Florida State, but man, that's a dumpster fire over there. It just gets more. It's unwatchable, but at the same time, it's unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen FSU look this bad in my lifetime.
You're not old enough. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm really not that young either. So it's like
I've seen it before. I've seen it. You know, it was a time when you could get in that stadium, sit at the 50-yard line, and this was pre-Bobby Bowden, and it was amazing. They went, I think, 0-11, and I never thought this team would be this bad again since Bobby Bowden. But it's hard to watch.
Yeah,
you're alumni.
I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, it was better last week than it had been the first couple weeks, but I mean, wins and losses, like you said, Coach. At the end of the day, I mean, they're still losing games. But we got the young guy in. Danzy got some run time, so shout out to our Florida High guy for getting in and get some minutes. And the young guys are the most reliable ones. Just put all the young guys in. They seem to be doing better than the old guys are.
Yeah, you might as well, because if you lose, you lose. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And get those young guys some experience. And I like the idea, you know, I like what I saw out of the quarterback. I think I can't believe he looked like a speedster compared to the other quarterback I'm not going to talk about. I don't like talking about players. But I saw that same kid play real well last year. I don't know what happened to him.
There you go. That's the beauty of it. But yeah, I mean, now we got a tight end who can catch, so that's good.
Yeah.
The freshman looked real good, and then the other one who caught the touchdown, both underclassmen. So
tight end, huh?
Yeah, man.
Oh man, just think if he was catching them early in the season.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now he's in. Now he's in, making it happen. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get one or two more wins. The Charleston Southern game's going to be a pretty hot ticket. I think it'll be a good contest. Should be about even.
Hey, that's homecoming, man.
There you go.
Well, here's the video. This is the belt that they had at the end of the game. I kind of like that for a celebration. It's unique. It's way better than the turnover chain.
Oh man, I mean, everybody started doing that. They didn't. I didn't catch too much, but that's telling you a story right there. Right? But don't let them come back and beat you. They're gonna bring that back up. They're not gonna forget.
Oh yeah, they definitely writing a check that next year's team gonna have to pay for. But you know, enjoy it while you can. Yeah, it's so crazy to watch. It's so crazy to watch FSU right now. I can't even. But at the same time, it's also interesting because it was a bunch of upsets last week. Alabama lost. We were talking about the Chase Gillespie, showed out in the game. What is he to you again? He's your
his grandma is my cousin. So okay. I claim.
But yeah, that I did not see what Arkansas upset Tennessee. So
go Razorbacks. Woo pig. I used to go to those games. That's why I'm glad they did win. My whole family watching Arkansas.
Yeah, it's been one of those seasons, man. I think it's just a nice break from the norm. Just seeing, Agenti out in Boise State leading the Heisman race. Like,
but I got about 100 touchdowns.
I thought it was going to be Travis Hunter just after the first couple of weeks. I was just like, man, there's no way.
But it ain't no.
It's not. It's not. I still think Travis Hunter could edge, just depending on how they play down the stretch. Because wins and losses definitely count to the Heisman committee. It's always been that way.
So, have you ever thought of this? He was an FSU commit. Just think of what he could have changed the culture with all that talent.
Yeah,
I mean, he could probably play any position on the field.
The person that I always look at and I'd be like, dang, I can't. It's almost unfathomable, but he was on the squad was Randy Moss.
Oh man, I was out there when they came in.
Could you imagine the team with Randy Moss, Peter Ward, Ron Dugans, and Lavernius Coles? That's insane. And they almost pulled it off without him. Because you got to think, FSU had they beat Florida in '97, they would have went to the national championship game 4 years in a row. 5. That would have been 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. That's absurd.
Great players make great teams. If you can get all that talent at one time, man, you're on your way.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some high school football.
You over there, man.
Huh?
You must also. I said Jupe is mighty quiet.
Yeah, well, when you got nothing good to say, Coach, you know what they say.
If his mama said, if he ain't got nothing positive to say.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I wonder what we would have had to give Richardson to come over. Maybe what he would have saved, about $1 million from that NIL money. Maybe had a couple more.
That's what's really crazy about it. That is what's really crazy about the whole thing is the NIL money. Because there's no ROI on that one. Not a bit. The cars have been paid for. The clothes have been bought. Mm-hmm. The Gucci bags.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I was
not giving it back.
These guys are getting paid for going to school. God,
It feels so. I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna step out on the limb. It feels weird watching Norvell because it's almost like it's like he knows. It's like he knows more than he's letting on, and he's just really reserved. Like not like you look at the guy throughout his whole career, just a high energy guy, and it's just like it's weird to see him like that. It's like he knows something's up. And then there's the rumors of the AD stepping down and everything. It's just too much, like, kind of the FSU football cross the line with the powers that be somewhere because it's weird stuff going on. The stadium build is delayed. There's all kind of stuff with the band competing with the DJ. People don't even like sitting in the stands. It's almost like I don't know what happened. I don't know what Illuminati member FSU may have pissed off, but they need to fix that.
Mark, when you're struggling on, you coaching a team that's struggling, I mean, and you feel helpless.
It just feels like it's beyond that, though. It really does. It feels like because you're watching guys who were competing at a much higher level last year look like they're not giving hardly any effort at all. Like the team didn't turn over that much. There's a lot of turnover in key areas, but not that much.
10 NFL prospects make a big difference. They all got drafted. They gone. They make, because one guy can uplift the whole team. 10 made them look a lot better. I mean, these guys are playing on Sunday. And so you miss that. And some guys are followers. They go long. They good with other great players and some not. And so when you find out, you don't know until the game comes around. You don't know, can this guy do the same thing he was doing? Plus, think about it. They take away one stud. You become the man. You got a target on your back. And you can't do what you did. You was free. Now, I won't call them names, but it was a couple of players had a lot of people on their side of the ball helping them out, making a big difference on what they did. And I think that's what the problem is.
Yeah, either way, leadership is missing. But it is fun to watch the former Noles ball out in the NFL right now. NFL is fun to watch right now, especially for me. My team is 5-0.
Hey, it's not fun when you're the coach. They just left.
Nah, not at all.
You're undefeated with those guys. They say.
Yeah, you would. They are missing Jordan Travis right now. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and jump into some high school football. It was a really good week last week. It was a really good week. We had big time matchups. I enjoyed looking in on the Lincoln Gaston County game. That was everything I expected it to be. There were so many good games around the area. I think that one of the things that I really was keeping an eye on was Franklin County Cottondale, because both of those teams were undefeated. Got a little lopsided, but still it was fun to watch for the little bit that I did see. But let's go ahead and jump into the rewind for week number. Man, it's hard to believe, man. We are already going into week number 8. So
rolling.
Week number 8 scores. The week number 8 schedule. But let's go back to week number 7. We had Childs and Florida High that faced off earlier, and that was to me, I think that was a must win, or not a must win, but as much as a statement win for Florida High. Started out the gate slow to start the season, and this looked like a big win for them, 37-27 over the Timberwolves. And man, Timberwolves, it looked like there were winnable games that were there, but it just didn't expect to see them with the record at this point in the season.
Yeah, Florida High has been a perennial playoff team for the past few years. Great coaching staff, great support system. And Charles, you thought they had turned the corner, but looked like they're struggling a little bit. And it was a pretty good game compared to you wouldn't think of Florida High would jump all over the bigger school Charles, but the results are the results.
Yeah,
for sure. And if you got a team, if you're trying to pick a team to be within one possession or within 10 points, I think Childs is your bet, gang. But unfortunately, just unable to get over the hump. And then you start to look at some of the other things going on, and we're exactly where we are like the last 3 years. Childs, I don't know if you guys check out the playoff points, sitting at 9th right now. 9th, and the magic number is 8 in the classification. So it's tough. The schedule's tough. They're close, and it's going to be really difficult. Well, maybe not super difficult to pick up a couple more wins, but tough to see for Childs, man. Late games. What is it? Before this one, it was 3 straight one-possession games, one-score games with, good teams that we like. Gabi, Rickards, Wakulla. They're right there, but just getting over that is tough.
Yeah, I look at the way that the schedule sits, and we'll take a look at that for them in a minute. But you're going up against Lincoln next week, and so the order just gets taller for the Timberwolves. But meanwhile, for the Seminoles, I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered. Watching them play, the team is starting to look like the young guys are really growing up, and they're returning to what I would call Florida High form, which is what we expect to see from the Seminoles. And a lot of it is just, looking at what we normally see from a Florida High team. Coach Hickman really, and I think, it's tough to kind of take into account what happened at the beginning of the season, because they went up against 2 state champions, beating one in Hawthorne, or excuse me, not Hawthorne, but I think it was Hawthorne. earlier, and then going up against, of course, they had that big time matchup against Thomas County Central, and those are tough games, but we expect that from Coach Hickman, to take on top tier talent. But I mean, looking at the way this game unfolded, it really wasn't anything fancy. They just got the job done on the ground. Looking at some of the stats here, really looking at, it just looks like, superstar by committee for Florida High. They got 3 guys here that were all contributing. Team totals were pretty good. But, this is a team that was just in control the entire game. Coming down here to some defensive stats, not a whole lot, I guess, didn't get reported, but it's a lot that you can tell just from how they spread the ball around a pretty good deal and seem to be able to put Timberwolves on the edge, being able to win like that. Going into this point of the portion of the season, pull up their schedule real fast, but you can see right here, like, look at the remaining opponents on Florida High's schedule. This is rough.
Wow.
So Gadsden County, Taylor County, Madison County, Mosley. I feel like this was the win you had to have.
Wow, look at that schedule.
I think that we got 3 losses. 3 losses with those 4 teams right now. Gadsden 6-1, Taylor's 5-0, Madison's 4-2, Mosley's also 6-0.
And you have to go to Taylor County. So this is one where I know Coach Hickman put together this schedule with the best of intentions, but it may not have known how good these teams were really going to be. But this, again, you take a win like this and you want to be able to, use it as momentum to be able to go into this part of the season. I think that was crucial. Meanwhile, let's go into probably one of the biggest games of the year. We had Lincoln taking on Gadsden County. This one, home game for the Trojans, I expected it to be close, but, man, Gadsden County really showed the strength of their offensive unit going into Gene Cox and coming out with a big win over a very stout, tough Lincoln defense. Man, what can you say? I really think there's a lot of credit that needs to go to Gadsden County's offensive line, because Lincoln is no slouch on the defensive front.
Yeah, I didn't think that Gadsden would come in there like that, but they showed their strength. We came out with a double-digit win, which was a surprise. I knew it would be close. I didn't think they would put up that many points on Lincoln, but Coach Eddington has got those guys going well.
Yeah, they're absolutely. Oh, sorry, guys, just knocking over drinks and stuff over here. Usual, I feel like every other week. But yeah, those guys on the line, to Coach's point, they're moving mountains, and the situational ball was really good too. Just crucial third downs, kind of play calls, execution, and then I thought Doherty really stood out. So the run game has been the emphasis, and you've got these guys racking up some big plays, and there's the offensive line moving some bodies, right? So
you can see it's not surprising me how Kamarian Battles is the running back that he is. He's definitely shifty, but that offensive line look at how they protect here, but that's a nice pocket. But man, when you can do that, you just create so much room for your playmakers, and look how comfortable the quarterback looks here. Just running the offense, he has time. He's moving around, just being able to pick the defense apart. And that when you can get huge chunks of yardage like that. And again, Lincoln, no slouch on defense. They're definitely one of the teams that has been able to prove themselves this season thus far. But man, just hats off to what Gadsden County was able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you think about the one turnover. I think it was 9-0 when they were going in towards halftime. They fumble a snap, I think, over the quarterback, and it leads to a Lincoln turnover, which they go down and take it in. But if you flip that, and they were really doing really well on that drive, if they get that in, they're going in 16-0, and this could start to be kind of a landslide. Lincoln, some timely takeaways. They were able to chip away with the run game. You had Maddox for his weekly touchdown. He had a cool trick play with Cabram Paul. He dialed one up. That was fun. A little double wide receiver pass there. But I think you saw the merit of both teams, but Gadsden really got a big jump, and I think you see it in all the metrics. You see it in the playoff points, you see it in the rankings statewide, and now I think a lot of people are getting some eyeballs on Gadsden, where we've been kind of throwing that out there all season, gang, that, hey, check out Gadsden. Gadsden's got it going on. Gadsden's got it going on. Gadsden's got it going on. I think people are finally starting to take notice statewide, and I think it cements that this team is legit.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. When you look at stats on this game, Gadsden kind of didn't really put up a whole lot of their offensive numbers, but this is what the defense was able to do to Christian Sims. 9 of 22. That's a lot of pressure. Really, that just says a lot about Gadsden County's defensive front. Still totals for rushing 174 is decent for the average team, but for Lincoln, I think this is a little low for them. Normally they produce a kid or two that's over 100 yards. I know week number 2, they had 2 guys over 100 yards. So, this is one of those things where they really put a lot of pressure on the Lincoln offensive front. But Trojans are going to get a chance to bounce back, because up next, we'll go into the schedule. We'll take a look at what's coming down the pipeline for both teams, because Lincoln still has everything in front of them. And if anything, this was a great litmus test for them. Moving forward, we have Franklin County taking on Cottondale, and this was another battle of the unbeatens. But man, Cottondale, man, you're gonna have to start giving credit where credit is due for the Hornets.
Yeah, I've seen them play twice, man. That quarterback is really explosive. They have an awesome running back. They got some explosive players, and you have to pick your poison with them. Who you going to stop? And I was kind of surprised. I thought Franklin would be a better game, but Cottondale's for real.
Yeah.
Your ballers, your big-time players, your studs, as coach likes to call them, step up in the biggest moment, gang. Garrett went for a school record 418 rushing yards against Franklin. He's over 1,100 for the season in just 6 games. He leads the rural classification. He absolutely balled out. And kind of like what we said for Gadsden, that line was paving the way big time out there. And I think they kind of put their stamp on the rural region right now, and they're rolling.
Yeah, that is absurd. 26 carries, 418. That's
5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns. That's a real stat, people. That's a real football stat.
You get 5 touchdowns in a game, you balling. You're doing more than balling.
Yeah.
How about that average? 15 yards a rush.
Coach, we got to figure out a way to talk to this kid, because one of the biggest things about it is what offers does he have? Because I'm like, it's if you can do stuff like that, college coaches definitely got to be paying attention.
I'm telling you, man, that guy's. When I saw him play, all he did was taking 50-yard run, 60-yard run. I'm like, can anybody stop him? I want to see him against somebody that giving him a hard time. I love to see a great matchup with that. I'm not familiar with the schedule, and maybe we can find something. Maybe we'll go out there and watch him in person.
And if this is a real stat with Cameron Odom, he basically just handed the ball off the entire night. That's like, that's, and you look at it, nothing to take away from it, but look at what the Collins guys did. That's 89 yards and another one that went for $1. So that's 610 all together as a team. I shout out to Dermont Jackson. I know he contributed his 3. Salute to you. But this is absurd. And, man, we would love to be able to talk to Cottondale's coach, man. They're having an incredible year. These are just this just puts the program in such a good position, because moving forward, I think they will kind of hit a surge if they can continue on this kind of track. Even though these 2 guys are seniors, it's going to be very interesting, given the fact that kids will want to be a part of a program in this era. Cottondale's program definitely on the uptick right now. But Franklin County really, I think Coach Cooper knew what he was going into in this back half of the season, but I think that then too, this was a good test for them because moving forward into as these rankings start coming out for the playoffs, this is going to be important, especially factoring in who you played. Moving on around the area, Rutherford gets their first win on the season. Had a chance to talk to Coach Floyd earlier. Yeah, man, congrats and shout out to him. I know it was a long time coming. They were knocking on the door for a couple of weeks and just couldn't get over the hump, but they secured a big win, 31-7 over Port St. Joe on the road, I believe. And, talking with him, he was very adamant about, not putting it on one guy's shoulder, but he just really talked about a lot of his kids having a big breakthrough and being able to secure that first win just meant a lot to his program as they get towards the back half of the season. So Rutherford gets that first dub. Port St. Joe's falls to 2-3, but still plenty of football left to be played. Meanwhile, Jefferson County gets a big win, and don't look now, but Tigers 5-1, playing some of their best ball. And we talked to the coach a couple of weeks ago before Helene came through. And, one of the biggest things is that, like, they were actually one play away from potentially being undefeated. They were trying to they ended up having a turnover on downs, just a mental error that gave I believe it was Hamilton County the ball back, but Tigers could be 6-0 very easily. But this was a big win over NFC, and Tigers are playing pretty good football right now.
Yeah, that looked very impressive on last Friday. I had a chance in the place I was in to watch the game. It was, and I was impressed. I hadn't seen them play this year, but the way they handled, the game got close, and then they pulled away, and that was very impressive. In the past of Jefferson County versus NFC, they would probably fall apart once they got the game got close, but they managed to score two or three touchdowns right after the game got close. So I have to give them ups, give them 2 snaps up, Coach Powell, and those guys are really playing well. They're playing very well. I love what I saw.
Yeah, and they're doing all phases, guys. Roderick Spearman with that big block punt, got the special teams touchdown. And Malik Johnson, junior quarterback, big name that we're not talking enough about, gang. 4 touchdowns in the air, and then he also ran for over 100, the dual threat Johnson. Only a junior, so hopefully a lot more to come, and we'll see many more games like this here out in Jeffco. But they're the real deal. But they're getting no love in these playoff points right now. No love.
I think that's a travesty because, a lot of times, I just think the voting can be a little bit skewed, but, systems, I look at it for what it is. I think the Tigers are definitely in a great position, probably calculating that strength of schedule into the whole mix. But I just, it's hard to root for these guys after, where the program has been. And then you look at Malik Johnson. Yes, you are absolutely right. We ain't talking about this kid enough. Getting it done in the air and on the ground. 13 carries, had a $123 on the ground. Also, looking at the way this offense is working, they really seem to be clicking. Look at how they're spreading the ball around. You got 4 or 5 guys with catches for 20 yards plus. So anytime you can do that, you're going to eat up plenty of yards. And, looking at this team, they're definitely on the uptick. Hopefully, as the season goes on, they'll be in a position where, as we were talking about playoffs, they'll get some love going down the stretch and kind of increase their position as we get to the, weeks number 9 and 10. Moving around the area, Sneads falls in a big way to Bluntstown as Bluntstown rights the ship with a big 38-3 win over the Pirates. Sneads in a tough position right now, but Bluntstown looks like, and I have to give Coach Wagner a ring. I think somebody may have been hurt or something like that a previous week or something like that. But man, nonetheless, a big win for them as they down the Pirates on the road. Meanwhile, let's talk about the 70 piece that happened on the north side of town.
Why you got to bring that up?
It's rough, but man.
I mean, I don't even have anything to say about that. You know, it's on YouTube. You was at the game, so
yeah, for sure. Front row seat, 10 touchdowns, 9 different players. I mean, however you wanted it, everybody had it going on. You feel bad for DRS, their big running back, who is actually really fun to watch and who I was.
Yeah, he is.
He got hurt in the game, so I'm unsure of his status, but it did not look good, looked like a hand injury, so he had to go out early. But he was ripping some big runs. But, yeah, Maclay's got it going on. They're right where they want to be as they get their first district win. And then, of course, with the reschedule, they're rolling into their second one here this season, and we're getting to the big money games down the stretch, gang.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the schedule for the Marauders, it looks favorable going down the stretch. Of course, they got the big time matchup against Taylor County to close the season out, but that won't be of consequence in their playoff positioning. When you look at John Paul, that's going to be an interesting matchup. But I think this all looks like Maclay has everything they want in front of them right now, especially when they were able to play the way that they played. We have the benefit of covering Maclay games exclusively, so we get to see them up close and personal. But execution's always been a huge thing with them. And last year they were starting fast and kind of tapering off at the end. And I think now they're trying to get to a level where they're getting to some sustainability through all 4 phases of the games. And anytime you can get your young guys in and get them reps and they're still performing at a high level, a shutout's a shutout. So that's just speaks very well to the team effort that they put forth. But, as we get to the other parts of the schedule, we'll definitely see how the Marauders do going down the stretch. Moving on around the area, Arnold gets a big 40-0 win over Vernon. Marlins right the ship as they get back in the winning column with a 5-2 record. Arnold looks pretty good. I haven't seen the rankings. I can't recall the rankings with them just yet, but again, great turnaround season for them. They're right in the position that they want to be in as well. This one was a little bit because I in my opinion, I've been out to John Paul before, and I also know that Wakulla travels well. So, a lot of Wakulla fans were asking before the game, are they even going to have bleachers out there? Yes, they did have bleachers out there to support the Wakulla faithful. I wish I could pull that up on social media. It was fun it was kind of funny to look at. But a good win for Wakulla, getting 21-14 over John Paul. John Paul really made it a game, in my opinion. Definitely performed a lot better than they had in previous weeks. But Wakulla, this was again a good win for them as they moved to 4-1 on the year. We've been watching a lot of the youth at Wakulla kind of grow up a little bit, and it looks like they're starting to kind of turn the corner a little bit.
Well, coaches, Cleese has always done a good job with those guys over there. They always got a good team. Plus, he has the benefit of having these guys from middle school all the way up and is doing the same thing and having the same offense and defense. It really helps. And they do a good job, and they're always in the playoffs. Just hadn't been able to get over the hump yet.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Hughes, too, because he had to put in some overtime for the coaching duty here. I mean, JP2 was with him the whole game, gang. They were forcing really good turnovers. G5 gets hurt in the first quarter, Mark. So they put in Julian Thompson. He's kind of more their kind of traditional passer. And then they had to switch it up again. So they ended up playing 3 quarterbacks. Then Caden Collier gets in, and he's number 6. If you see 6 in the highlights, that's a good little interception right there. But how about that pressure on the defensive line? I think it was Capone Cooper, 56. He was putting the heat on. He had a really good game. Christian King on defense. Yeah, the highlights.
There's a shot of the bleachers.
Yeah. There's the crowd, and then you got Grandma on the left. There you go, right towards the end there.
Hey, that's great film. That's excellent film work. Shout out to that person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to see anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, for by and large, John Paul is really, one of those teams where scrappy, but still, there's a lot of young guys on that team, and same for Wakulla as well. There's a gang load of juniors and sophomores on both squads. So future could look bright. Just depends on how the schedule looks going down the stretch. And I think for Wakulla, if you really take a look at the schedule for them, the schedule for John Paul, they've got that matchup against Maclay. But looking at the War Eagles and what they have going on, going down the stretch, they've still got, quite a bit to work out. They've got Gabi coming up, Swanee, South Walton, a pivotal matchup with Baker County, and then there's a showdown with Gaston County. So somehow everybody in the area is going to get their shot at the Jags, but War Eagles definitely going to have some tough matchups coming down the stretch. But again, a good win for Coach Cleese and his bunch. Let's go ahead and talk about Marianna and the Bulldog offensive line is working overtime because Mari Clemens is just putting on the show. And then also the Marianna defense needs to get some love too, because they've been performing stellar. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Marianna's third or fourth shutout on the year.
Dang. That's a good thing for a team because defense always travel.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 3 or 4 sounds right, Mark. I mean, they're going to have to get some new lights out there in Marianna. Mark, they played Rutherford on Monday. They threw down 56, and then they come back, and then they do it again, North Bay, and they put up 55. You got 5 days, and then they put up 111 points. They're just scoring in bunches. And like you said, the defense is doing its job. Complementary football. When the offense is playing well, the defense can take more risks, and then you get more turnovers and then more scores to the offense. Everything's rolling right now for Marianna, and they're one of the funner teams that we got going on, and that's why you see that they're undefeated right now.
Yeah, I think one of the guys that I think doesn't also get talked about enough is RJ Mays, man, having an incredible year, really leading this offense for the Bulldogs every week. Just watching him manage the game. I know Amari Clemens is going to get the lion's share of what's happening with the offense, but let's take a look at this here. RJ didn't have to do a whole lot, but 7 of 10, being able to throw for 175 yards. And then let's just look at how the Bulldogs spread this around. It wasn't just Amari Clemens. It just, let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 9 guys carrying the Bulldogs, carrying the ball for the Bulldogs. And, not anything fancy, but it shows you that they got a bunch of stable of running backs. And this is kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of the year, where this team was young, but, growing up quickly and being able to show out like that. And this is one of these teams where I'm just like, man, I do not want to play Marianna right now.
They had 2A school, right? Then they were gassing.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, that might be a game.
We're gonna have to keep that one. We're definitely gonna have to keep that one circled on the calendar, because that's just gonna be one that you can't miss. It's two of the area's best running backs going head to head. Moving on around the area, Weewa gets their first win on the year against winless Liberty County. So we had a battle of the unbeatens, and then we had a battle of the no wins, and Weewa gets that one 20-7 over Liberty County. Moving on around the area, this game was pretty exciting, but man, I think me and you were making picks on this one, and it looks like Gabi was able to take the edge and get the home dub against Baker County. This one was this is what we come to expect from Gabi. You're going to find a way to pull it out in a very seesaw game. But Coach Holston and his group, this is right where they want to be, in the driver's seat of the district. Proud alum.
Only when they win.
Absolutely not. It's still blue and white all day over here.
Oh man, I don't see the Raiders no up on this board, man. You need to hurry up.
They were all
the next one. They're the next one, Coach. They're on the next slide.
Okay,
we're working there.
playing on Wednesday don't count for this week?
Yeah, they got it going on, dude. Ronajay Wiley, absolute monster game. 13 tackles, interception that led to the touchdown to give them the 11-point lead, which would be just enough. Once again, having to come back. And man, can this team close. You saw them close against Swanee. They had a furious fourth quarter and throw one over the top deep. Same thing. The defense comes up big this time, able to put it away. And the offensive line doing work. The breakfast boys out there. Coach, 16 pancakes from your offensive line. Hester, Barnes, Stinson.
I love to see that.
Woo!
That's
Look
exciting.
out.
Yeah.
Rattling over his school victory. Go ahead.
No, you just have to take a look at, you know, just the way that, you know, a lot of times these are the kind of wins that really, you know, put a program back into contention. You know, Coach Holston really came in with a game plan this year, and it's starting to come to fruition. He's been with these guys from, you know, I think we talked to Coach Holston, I think it was February of this year. He was one of the first coaches we talked to, and he really worked hard on implementing not only the structure of the team, but, you know, really trying to come from an inspirational level to get these guys back into where he feels like Cougar football should be. So this is where you want to be again, in the driver's seat of district. So shout out to them. Madison, this was another game that, you know, I thought the Cowboys, you know, kind of had it, but I think that, you know, being in that tough road environment, and, you know, Pace is always going to be a tough place to play out in the Panhandle. It just kind of one of those rules, unspoken rules out there. And Madison, unfortunately, fell short on this one, 31-35. So Cowboys fall to 4-2 on the year. And, you know, again, you know, no consequence to their playoff hopes, but, you know, this is one of those opponents where, you know, Madison, you know, Cowboys always feel like they can run with anybody. And, you know, it just came up on the short end of the stick on this one. This one was a little weird because we're not used to seeing forfeitures, but it looks like Chipley, by benefit of forfeit, gets the win over Hollis Christian. So Tigers move to 6-1. Not sure how it's going to help them in the playoff rankings, but a win is a win. Moving on around the area, Bozeman falls to Destin 24-21 in a close one. Lafayette falls to Fort White 21-32. Lions still winless on the year in a tough loss to Cairo in the Peach State 7-35. And then South Walton gets shut out by Choctaw 37-0. And that's your week 7 scores. You know, man, week number 8 is definitely going to prove to be, in my opinion, it's going to be very telling how a lot of teams perform because the schedule's not going to get any easier. But there's a lot of good games out there. And when you look at the playoff rankings, it's just kind of one of those things where you really want to take into consideration what matchups could really look like in the first round, because that determines your travel and how, you know, of course, keeping teams healthy going down the stretch. So there's a lot to think about and take into consideration, but there's so much football left to be played. But it's crazy to believe we're already in week number 8.
It's got to be tough being a coach. You got to worry about where you rank, how you go in it. Back, I guess you would call it the old days when you won the district and you came in second place. You pretty much knew the brackets were already set, and so you got to schedule. You got to schedule well. And you know, you got to win the games. You got to win.
Yeah,
that's a heck of a setup for next weekend tomorrow.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Lincoln and Childs. This was for the district championship, and you know, Lincoln always prides themselves on winning the district, and I think that's one of those things that just makes the Trojan program stand out. I have not kept tally. They used to print them on the T-shirts, and I think they ran out of room on the T-shirts to print the number of district titles. So, but this was going to be fun to watch because the Trojans definitely, you know, they like to maintain dominance. I think that one of the biggest things about, you know, playing Childs is that, like, it's just one of those things where they just like to keep their foot on their opponent's necks. Childs definitely has a lot to prove. They've been in position before but never really had a chance to kind of turn that corner. But this is a great matchup. Childs definitely I think it's one of those things. If Childs can find a way to get really that quarterback situation of theirs in a rhythm where they can start finding open receivers, I think the Timberwolves can really be a dangerous team. And they're definitely going to take a look at the film and try to do a textbook replication of what Gaston County had going on last week.
Yes, it's easy to look. It's not hard to do. I think Childs, I thought they were going to be a little bit better, but they're still in position to make the playoffs. And it should be an interesting matchup because those two schools have history. So it's not going to be an easy win for Lincoln. Childs is coming in there, a little wounded and turning out. And it should be a pretty good matchup. It has been in the past.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to go Trojans on this one. Jupe, I know you keeping tabs.
Yeah.
Really,
hey, what? Wait a minute! I didn't do nothing last night. I'm behind. What?
No, we gave you a pass. You all good? It's just your turn to make the picks now.
All right. Yeah. Let me get an update before we get off the rails here. So let's go last week. Last week first, Coach Mark's putting it together a little bit. He's coming along. So Mark last week, let me see, 17 games he picked. He went 13-4.
Dude, where's the spreadsheet? I know you got a spreadsheet somewhere. You got to share it now.
Okay, you want a screen share? Can you give me the power?
Can you share your screen?
All right, yeah, let me try to get
throw that up there for the people.
If he wasn't lean, he wouldn't care.
Well, we'll see when we get to that, Coach. Let's see. Let me get my window going. Okay, let me go full screen when I get here. Tell me if this looks clean or not. Oh, is it popping up? All right.
Yeah, I got you.
You got to activate. So I'm looking at this bottom part. Okay, so there's a little bit of a harebrained situation, but we're looking at over here. If you can see, we got the week 7 in this area. So Mark goes 13-4, so he's 76%. He won the week.
Hey, can you blow that up for the people, Jude?
There we go. So we'll go a little bit. There you go. That's about as big as I can get it. So he goes 13-4. So he just edged me out here. So these are our percentages before the week. So Mark, you got a little bit of a bump, but this is the season total. Mark, so you did pass Coach.
Wait a minute. Coach was out last week.
Right, that's why we go on percentages, Coach.
I had an open week last week.
Yeah, so you had the open week, but the poll was still happening. So this is what we got. So the total, including the week, going off the percentages, you can see Coach 72%. He's in third. Mark just below 76, and then we're up here 76.4. So
I'm sorry, Coach. What'd you say?
We're real close.
I was leading when I left.
True.
That is true.
And then I come back, I miss one day, and man, I gotta watch you guys.
I gotta get you. There was one week I didn't get you my predictions. I gotta get you. Maybe that might factor in.
We're gonna have all wins now, right? Too late. You can't come in after the. We don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
I'm ready to win this.
All right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. You can pencil me in for the Trojans this week.
All right.
I think Lincoln is playing for a little bit of get back, and I definitely expect the line to be. I really expect their line to be looking to have a much better game because I know. Anytime you have an area like that where you pride yourself in, and there's always going to be, extra emphasis on that. And I know the guys on that line, they care about what they do. So I know those kids are going to be coming out looking for revenge. Timberwolves definitely could. I think they're going to steal some. I definitely think that they are can catch Lincoln off guard in a couple of areas, but I just like the Trojans in this one. And Lincoln's at home, if it means anything.
It don't mean they're in the same place. Trojans, I got the Trojans.
Yeah, I'll make it all three, guys. Give me the Trojans. But yeah, to your point, Mark, you talk about Charles giving him a fight. If you can't give your biggest rival in the district, a de facto district championship, a big game, I mean, what are we doing here? Charles, new season. All they have to do is win 2, guys. So they could theoretically go 3-7, still make the playoffs as long as they beat Lincoln and Leon. It's a new season. These are the money games.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a reason to fight.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into Florida High Gaston County. We're going to be on hand in live in the flesh for this one. So I'm looking forward to it. Florida High, they've been kind of nomadic for the first part of the season, but they will finally be at a true home game off of Southwood. And the way the Seminoles have been playing, this is going to be a huge game for the Florida High community. Getting the field redone, got new press box. I think I had some pictures of it, but looks nice over there. And this is going to be this is really going to be a great matchup when you think about it, because Gaston County definitely is rolling on all 8 cylinders, 10 cylinders, whatever they got in the tank. They're using it right now. But for Florida High, this is going to be one of those tune-up games where they're getting ready to go through a really good little gauntlet in their schedule. I know Coach Hickman, definitely him and his staff are trying to figure out how to slow down this Gaston County offense. Looking at the numbers, though, it is really hard. Just looking at what Florida High has been able to do on paper, they look like they're evenly matched, but watching Gadsden County play at such a high level, it really just speaks a lot to the kind of opponents that they've had this year. That looks to be the difference maker. Not that Florida High has been a slouch playing Thomas County Central or any of their opponents. It's just been one of those things where, man, the Jags may have an edge in this game.
Is that your pick?
Yeah, for me it is, yeah.
I got the Jags. I'm just watching them. What they did this season, they have the record they have and play like that. They played some tough competition. They went Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. I mean, they played all over the place, and they came out with a pretty decent showing on all the games. Nobody blew them out. Nobody. I mean, they didn't. I think they only lost like 1 or 2 games, and they played very well. The game I saw, they led at halftime, Coffee County, and they led, and a couple of big plays turned the game around. But other than that, they play some fantastic football.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be, and this is one of those where I give Florida High plenty of credit because they have figured out a way to bounce back from some very tough games. But Gaston County has just something you can't ignore, and that's a playmaker at almost every single spot. They have found a way to have gotten it done in some really tough environments on the road, and I think that's why I'm leaning towards them.
Yeah, check all the boxes, guys. Dominant offensive line, quarterback making plays, run game, defense, and I was really impressed with the coverage. That was my one thing. Can they cover the versatility against Lincoln? They were able to lock them down, keep Sims in check in the passing game and in the rushing game, and I think that's credit to the defense. And I think Lincoln came with it, and we got a heavyweight fight. I also got to go Gadsden here. I can't in good faith. There you go. There's a little press box going on.
They got the nice little 2-decker up here. I hope that's our spot right there.
There you go.
But it'd be nice. Maybe we can spread out, But
closed it in on that bottom floor.
Yeah, they did. The improvements are nice. I think that we talked to their AD earlier, and he was super excited. I know the whole Florida High community has got to be excited to be at home again, which is going to be a great environment to take in some football. I definitely think that the Gaston County faithful, who got to give them credit too, they travel very well. Now that their team is doing well, they seem to be following the Jags pretty good. quite a few of them came up to Tennessee to watch them play McCallie. So it's definitely going to be a great environment for football. But as we get to the rest of the schedule, again, this is going to be a crucial game for Florida. How they perform could dictate how they handle the rest of the season because they got some big opponents left. North Bay Haven will be taking on Rutherford. Rutherford will be looking for that second win on the season. Excuse me, I think I skipped Freeport and Walton, but we'll just kind of keep bouncing around here. But yeah, give me the Rams to get that second win on the season. Really think that Coach Floyd and his bunch have been putting together some things lately, and like the way they put together a complete win to go over against Port St. Joe. I think I'm gonna go Rutherford.
I'm gonna have to go with you on that one too, Margaret. We gotta find something to disagree with so I can catch.
Yeah, we need some friction points. I'm with Rutherford too. Saw the offense really kicking into high gear. I think they keep it rolling against North Bay Haven again this week.
So moving on, some other games. We got Freeport versus South Walton. And this is one where South Walton just, again, another road matchup. But, you know, something about it, I think I may have to actually say, I definitely like the way the Bulldogs have been playing. I think this game might be closer, but give me South Walton.
Oh, man. There you go again. I thought you was going to pick Freeport, but I'm going with South Walton on this one.
All right, here we go. District game. You got to run the ball. I'm going with the Bulldogs and the run game.
Oh,
we disagree. Okay.
I need him to disagree.
Coming up, we got Cottondale taking on Liberty County. Guys, I just got to ride with the Jackets. With the Hornets on this one. They've just been playing stellar football. And let's just pull up Cottondale's schedule. It is very possible that nobody catches the Hornets this year. The way their schedule looks, it is quite possible they go undefeated. And so this is one of those we really got to start digging into the history books. When's the last time Cottondale was undefeated?
I have no idea. Maybe they know. They'll call somebody over there.
Now, I think we can remember when the last time when Graceville went undefeated, because they were a powerhouse when you all were on the come up. This was like the mid-2000s, but I cannot recall the last time Cottondale has been this good. And then you look at their schedule. Let me see if I can pull that up. But they've got coming up next, they've got Liberty County Vernon, then Joshua Christian. I'm not familiar with Joshua Christian, but I can tell you they definitely hold an edge over their last two opponents.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think there's nobody on their schedule to stop them. The only time they probably face a tough opponent probably is in the playoffs.
So let's take a look at that. Like that looks pretty favorable for them.
Wow. Are they your most likely team to go undefeated?
I think so.
In the coverage area?
Jackson,
yeah, I think so.
Powerhouses in it.
Because, yeah, Franklin County, they go to Vernon. This offense is proving that they can get it done on the road. I am not familiar with Joshua Christian Academy.
Mm-hmm. They're out of Jacksonville, but
their record does not
schedule. Yeah,
yeah, doesn't look like they've gotten many games in. I think it says that they've only played 2, so I'm not sure who's putting the information in on their schedule. But yeah, definitely got to go Hornets for the rest of the season. So moving on around the area, Jefferson County.
So we're making sure everybody got Cottondale, right?
I'm assuming so.
I thought you had picked. I thought you had picked.
Yeah, I know you want to catch me. I know you do.
Yeah, Cottondale for me, Coach. Just to be clear, yes.
Got to make sure.
All right, Jefferson County taking on Sneads, man. Give me the Tigers. The Tiger. Really like what Coach Powell is doing. Like them at home. I know it's going to be a great environment out there in Monticello to catch a game. Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll with Jefferson County Tigers on this one.
Jefferson.
He thought about it a little bit. I thought he
really.
was going to do it. Malik Johnson and Jefferson County. I got them taking home the win.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Coach, this is your pick and your pick alone. NFC versus FAMU DRS.
I refuse to pick that game.
Nope. You were out last week.
You want me to lose for sure. It's gonna be a close game. Both of them about this, teams are having a tough season. Oh man, it hurt. I'm a big fan of DRS. I don't care.
Go get him, Coach. Go get him. I like it. Yeah, the only thing is, I thought it's a shame. Like I said, McMillan got banged up in that McClay game. If he was healthy, and I
was gonna agree with you on that one.
If I knew for sure he was like 90% and good to go, he's a diamond in the rough. I really like Cameron McMillan at DRS, and so I'm excited to see him next year as well. But with that uncertainty, I gotta go NFC. I like the defense. A little bit of an offensive spark last week, which I've been waiting for basically all season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I would have gone with FAMU High because the kid literally he's not only is he fun to watch, he's got great instincts when he's running the ball. Doesn't go down on first contact. Could be one of those kids that really turns into something special. But with his condition being iffy, I might have to go NFC as well. It's weird seeing both teams in this kind of predicament with only one win between the two at week number 8 in the season. It's just a rarity. At one point, this was a game where, Coach, you have coached in this game, and both of y'all were undefeated. And unfortunate that it's like that, but this is the new era of football here in the Big Bend and the Panhandle areas, where we got teams that have really crested and taken a downturn, and we got some teams that have come up and popped up out of absolutely nowhere. So
it's the portal did it.
The portal, you blame the transfer portal. Okay. Moving on, we got St. John Paul versus McClay. This one traditionally has been a very good matchup, but with G5 getting banged up in the previous game, you just got to wonder if that's going to really affect John Paul going into this week. I'm going to definitely have to go with Marauders. They're hot right now. Anytime you got a team that's clicking the way that they are, got great chemistry, seem to be able to kind of have a good sense of who they are on defense, I think I'm going to have to go with McClay on this one. Would definitely love to see G5 heal up, though, and get back in action, though, very soon.
Give me a minute. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call the coach on the phone. See if he can.
Hey, I'm going to hold you to it. You're going to do that next week. We're going to bring a coach in. You're going to talk to him, put you on the spot. Coach, explain to Coach to his face why you picking against him.
Woo!
Duke, I coached him in high school, right?
Yeah, did you? I didn't know that.
I was his JV coach.
All right. So you taking credit for some of that success, Coach? Is that what?
Yes, because he's tough. One thing about him, he's a former linebacker. He's tough, but I'm gonna have to go with McClay.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the way that they switched it up, you had Collier getting in a quarterback, and then you threw Upshaw at wide receiver. It's tempting, but the health concerns, like you said, Mark, it's a shame you see it. But at this time of year, are you healthy? All your ballers good to go. McClay came out healthy. So I'm going to give the edge to McClay in this one. Will be more interesting than you would think between a 4-1 team and a 1-4 team. So don't just look at the records.
Yeah. Teams.
Gotta agree. We were taking on Franklin County. I like the Seahawks to get back in the winning side of things, but they will have their hands full with a very upstart WeWa squad that is determined. They've been scrappy in every game. Just have come out on the losing side of things. But given to how Franklin County really, they went up against one of the better opponents in the area. And, anytime you get a chance to do that, it's always a tune-up game for your next opponent. So I would look for them to kind of shore things up defensively, especially on the defensive front. And Coach Cooper, we know how he has put together this team. They've, really, really leaned on Tamarian Carr and a host of other playmakers, but he's really put together a good defensive team as well. So I'm going to have to go Seahawks in this one, even though WeWa will be hosting.
I'm going to give myself a chance. I'm going with WeWa.
Oh.
They got their first victory, and I watched them play one game. They were in it, and they just couldn't pull the trigger. They couldn't get over the hump. So I'm going to go with WeWa. Give myself a chance to catch up.
There you go. Yeah, they gave was it Jefferson they gave all they could handle? It was like 23-22. Yeah, that was a really good game. They broke the seal coach. They got the win. I like Franklin in a bounce back game. And if for nothing else, this is for Franklin. Good team, getting no love in the rankings. So I'm hoping they can bolster their rankings. Gang, if the playoffs started today, Franklin is a 12 seed in the rural classification, and they're going to have to travel to Chiefland. They're 5-1, and you're traveling to Chiefland in the first round of the playoffs. Let's get those numbers up for the Seahawks. I want them to jump up into the single digits, get themselves a little favorable matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Give me the Hawks this weekend.
Yeah, rolling with the Hawks. Let's keep it rolling. Walton, Pensacola Catholic. Don't sleep on this game because Walton has been absolutely lighting up the scoreboard. Let's take a look at this. Pensacola Catholic has a little bit of an edge in the records wise, but Walton, man, don't sleep on the Braves because we know they got Bettenhausen, and this game is at home for the Braves. The passing yards per game, 318 averaging, this is one of those where it's just like if Bettenhausen gets rolling, Walton's going to be hard to beat at home. This is a team that took one of the best teams in the area, one of the undefeated teams in the area down to the wire in Mariana earlier this season, which means that they not only have the offensive firepower to run with you, they can catch you off guard at any moment. And I'm going to have to step out and just roll with the Braves on this one. But this stat stands out to me too. Pensacola Catholic also 4.5 sacks a game. They're getting things done on the defensive front, going against Walton's passing game. This is an interesting stat line, but I'm because Walton just that prolific passing attack at home. Give me the Braves in this one.
Yeah, this is a pretty good matchup here. Pensacola Catholic is a pretty good team, and going against a Walton team that's picking up steam now, and with the ability to throw the football, I think that gives them the edge. And I'm going with Walton.
Oh, okay. So you guys are liking the passing game. I
like the homes. I like them being at home too.
I watch two of their games. So.
I thought it was at Catholic.
Oh, they could be on. Let me check it again. No, they're at Catholic. Ooh, that changes things a little bit.
Mark.
That changes things a lot of bit.
I'm
gonna stand on business. I'm gonna stand on business. I'm gonna stick with Walton. I think Walton pulls the upset on the road. How about that?
You never been over there at Pensacola Catholic.
Yeah, that's a tough place to play.
Man, that's a tough place to play.
Extremely tough.
Yeah, the trenches, like you said, Mark, the sacks, also on the offensive end, and that's where I'm giving the edge here. And I got to go Catholic in this one.
It's a good match. I can't wait for this next one.
Catholic is mean, guys. They're right behind Gadsden in the state rankings. I know they're kind of chasing on their tail.
They're ranked pretty high.
Yep.
We got to carve out time to start putting together a playoff preview show at some point because as things get close to the wire, this is definitely going to be interesting going down the stretch. Wakulla Godby up next on deck.
This is know you're going to Mark. We know who you're going to pick, so it don't matter.
You never know, Coach. You never know.
Hey, hey, I really like the way both teams are playing right now. I really do. Wakulla definitely hanging tough with a very tough schedule and a young team. This is a much needed home game for them after they've been on the road and then off for a couple of weeks. So they'll definitely look to get that Crawfordville crowd into it. Cougars, this is going to be a tough test for them because they're going into a very arguably hostile road environment. For Godby, it's really going to come down to how are they trying to contain Perryman on defense, because this kid is an absolute difference maker on the defensive side of the ball for the Cougars, because he actually shifts things and they start running away from him. Wakulla definitely has a balanced offensive attack, and this is one of those where I don't know if Godby can afford to go in a seesaw game with them down in Crawfordville. Seesaw games in Crawfordville tend to go to the War Eagles' way and not the opponent's way, historically speaking. So if Godby's going to have a chance, they're going to have to be able to pull away early offensively and not be able to give up so many points in this game. This is my thing. If Wakulla can find a way to put more than 25 points on the board, I think that they will win it going away. But if Godby can kind of limit that defense and keep it around 20 points, I like the Cougars in this one. But, man, everything else is pointing towards Wakulla, and I kind of got to give them the edge.
So you going with Wakulla?
It's 50-50 for me. It's really a toss-up.
Yeah. Who are you going with? Who are you with?
You know, I'm going to stick with my alma mater. I'm going to stick with my alma mater.
Why are we wasting time? I mean, it was a waste of time. You didn't have to go through it.
You realize we are the only show that is analyzing and breaking these games down. Of course, I'm going to get into it.
He had like he was going to pick Wakulla.
You like the suspense, don't you? I really like Jupe.
Jupe almost fell out of his chair. He thought you was... I knew where you were headed.
I had to put the theatrics in it. Keep people on the
I'm going with Wakulla. I'm picking the War Eagles at home.
All right. This is
I gotta give myself a chance. I can't catch up.
Yeah, I mean, good for you, Coach. Go get it, man. I wouldn't mind adding a little more gold to the pile here. So I'm gonna go with Godby. Mark, I respect your rationale. I think it's going to take 35-40 to win this game. I think it's going to be high.
The Swanee game was very telling.
I disagree with both of you guys. I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game.
Really? That's wild. Okay.
You would know. You've coached out there because it's different playing out there.
We never came close to beating them.
I think Godby's strengths line up really well with where Wakulla is gettable. And I think the deep passing game is going to get it going. Chambers got it going on. Like I said, Ronna J. Wiley, and then also shout out little freshman on the defensive line, not little at all, really. Terrian Atkins, he's been a beast as of late. 3 sacks against Baker and 5 big tackles. So I'm liking the pressure they're going to put on that offense. So I'm going to go Godby here, gentlemen.
What?
Let's look at this. Wakulla likes to start fast, averaging a pair of touchdowns in the first quarter. So Godby really can't afford to stumble out of the gate. And this goes back to what you were saying, Jupe, about just is it going to be 35, 40 points later? Because you see the Cougars, they're a second half team all the way. They find a way to close out the first half in the latter parts of ball games with a flurry of points. I look at, of course, I look at Godby's quarterback, Lazarus Chambers, and I look at how he's been very instrumental. Wakulla's going to have to tackle well to contain him. But again, on the other side of that, if Cleese gets into a rhythm, you can hang it up. He definitely picks his spots, doesn't turn the ball over, does all the things you want to do right. and a lot of situations. There's, just kind of a thing here where it's just the underlying theme is who's going to be the most consistent and not have a lot of, the ridiculous penalties that kind of offset your drive. So things of that nature are going to be huge factors in this game. But yeah, this is going to be the ones that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on as we move down the stretch. Moving on around the area, we got Taylor County at Chiefland. This one's going to be a big game. A huge chest for the Bulldogs on the road.
Taylor County. They beat Blountstown. That's all they had to do. When they did that, I'm not going to pick against them no more this year.
Yeah, Taylor County's they've got a pretty stout schedule, and Chiefland is no slouch either. I think the Indians are sitting at 5-1 right now on the year. So
I thought they were undefeated. I think they're still 6-0.
Let me check that out. You could be right. You definitely could be right on that one. So
they can run the ball though.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I think they got almost 30 touchdowns on the ground, something crazy like that.
Yeah, undefeated, 6-0. 6-0.
About 250 yards a game on the ground. This one's tough because I looked down and I was trying to get analyzed, and it's tough because the only common opponent or one that we really understand that they've played is Lafayette as far as like crossover opponents, and they gave them a little bit of a run. But I like Taylor County, so I think it's a dead even tiebreaker. And so when it's dead even, I gotta rock with our boys. So continue on, Taylor County. Let's go 6-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me the Bulldogs as well. I do think that this will be a very close ball game within a score. Given that Taylor County's hitting the road. But again, Bulldogs have proven themselves in tough road environment. Blountstown is no cakewalk to go in there and pull out that kind of a dominant win. Says a lot about their program right now. And of course, they're playing high level of ball right now. They look at the playmakers and how they're performing. Ryan Hamilton, Kingston Williams, DJ McCoy, of course. And we haven't talked a lot about I think you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Tegan Kaysen has been performing well for them on the offensive front. This is a team that really looks complete and solid. We've seen them return punts and kicks, so they can get it done on special teams as well. It's kind of hard to go against them right now because they've been battle tested and they've come out victorious in every contest this year. So a battle of the unbeatens. This is just adds a little bit more flavor to it, but yeah, I'm rolling with Taylor County on this one.
Hey man, I'm with Taylor, but if you ever been, I used to travel around the different games, and Chiefland had one of the best concession stands I ever been to all over the Southeast. So, if they can stay away from that, they'll be all right.
I don't know. You can't beat fried gizzards at Boo Hill. If you ain't have fried gizzards at Boo Hill.
Hey, I don't like.
I don't know if they still do it, but
they had some of the best hamburgers. I mean, all over the Southeast. I was up and down from Georgia, Alabama, and they were ranked number 1 with me.
We got to do we definitely got to do a concession stand ranking before this is all said and done.
Yeah, Coach.
I hadn't been there for a long time, so
I have been fed by Osceola Christian, Jefferson County. Let me see. I would put Taylor County up there. They had some good sausages, one day. Out there at Dorset.
I'm not mad at you.
We did a game out at Bowles Field out in Blountstown. That was pretty good, I think. What was it? We had cheddar popcorn. Cheddar popcorn. Mariana's got a good one too.
Yeah, getting into concession.
Florida High has a good one. We'll get into this in a different episode. We'll do a concession stand rankings one of these days.
All over Big Ben. Just check out the concession stand. Don't worry about the game.
I got to check out some concessions down in the Bay. I got to take care. We got to check them out. Let's move on. Port St. Joe versus Bozeman. Man. I'm gonna go ahead and step out on this one. Give me the Joe coming back in and righting the ship at home against the Bucks.
I'm gonna go with Bozeman on this one. No comments.
Yeah, this was the hardest one I think on the schedule for me. I was hoping you all would just go one way and then I would just pick the odd man out.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
So we're gonna go. I gotta go opposite Mark. I want to try to gain some ground. Go with that coach logic. So I'm gonna go with Bozeman in this one. I think this will be a really good contest, clash of styles here. So it'll be exciting for me to watch.
Yeah, it definitely will. I think that, Bozeman really has picked up on their passing game of late, getting into a rhythm. It'll be very interesting. Port St. Joe just really trying to play inspired football right now for Chance. And I think that, just them trying to, with the hashtag and everything, do it for two, and really them playing out the rest of the season in his honor. I expect them to really come out firing. And I think that they can definitely, with them being at home, they play a little bit different when they're at home. They play a little bit, with more of an edge or chip on their shoulder in front of the home crowd. And I know that they will also be into it as well. This could get very tough for Bozeman very early if Port St. Joe gets the engine started early. So yeah, I like Port St. Joe at home. I think they could definitely perform very well, but this looks to be one of those tough matchups. Definitely think it's going to be close, but I like Tiger Sharks in a close one.
Yeah, Eli Harris has been really kind of stepping up, the junior tailback there. So it'll be a good one.
Yep. Suwannee, Baker County, a district matchup. Of course, we talked about Godby being in the driver's seat with the big win over the Wildcats last week, but Baker County now taking their talents down to Live Oak. Man, this is going to be a similar kind of environment where, that's just a tough place to play. I definitely think Suwannee is still trying to put some things together. This one, I wasn't sure at first if they were going to get this one in, but it looks like it's still on the schedule. I think the Wildcats may have a little bit of an edge. They seem to be a little bit more put together offensively. Watching them play against Godby, they matched up very well. I think Suwannee could be just a little bit outmatched with just the way that Baker County's defense plays. They've been able to show that they can come up with stops on third down. They really frustrated Godby in some certain areas where they had a good drive going. They can create some turnover situations too. So I think I'm leaning towards the Wildcats in this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Wildcats.
All right. I'm feeling upset here, gang.
Uh-oh.
Big district game. I'm going to go Suwannee Bulldogs. Per the local media down there in Lake City, they did a little interview with Kyler Hall. They've been really injury-ridden down there.
Oh, man.
As they are really healthy. So I'm liking a big bounce back because Suwannee's got to hit this one on a number of different levels. It's going to be really tough to go. I don't know if they can go get the district anymore with the head-to-head loss to Godby. So they're looking at an at-large bid. So these are really big down the stretch, but they still got a chance to jump in the postseason. I'm on the Suwannee train. Give me the Dogs.
Go ahead. I like it. I definitely think Suwannee.
Can't catch nobody going with the same people. Take a chance. Don't be scared.
I definitely think that Suwannee, looking at, their situation with personnel being hurt and everything has affected, a lot of their what would have been a more favorable schedule for them. But just, man, when you got certain guys hurt, it just makes it hard. Moving on around the area, Holmes County taking on Vernon. Man, give me the Blue Devils. I like the way that they've been playing this year. I think they've got a lot to still prove going down the stretch, and the schedule looks good for them. But, yeah, I like them at home.
You got Holmes at home? Holmes County.
Yeah, I'll make it a clean sweep. Love the line. Run game's mean. A little too much. Give me Holmes.
Records.
I know you see you have your eyes on it. I was giving you a chance to digest. Rick is on the road against Choctaw. At home against Choctaw versus Big Green. Let me double check, make sure that they are in the right spot.
I think so. Thursday game.
Yep, Thursday night game. Thursday night football.
It's Thursday. I mean, Choctaw got their own stadium.
I think it's at the Gene, down on the south side.
Yeah. Rickers loves having it. If you haven't been over there lately, they've the blue, what they call it, the Dead Sea. Fun place to watch a game. I know they don't have the benefit of the expanded seating situation. You know, sometimes I wish, you know, every school had their own stadium setup, but still they can accommodate still quite a sizable crowd. I just don't think that they will. Choctaw fans typically travel kind of somewhat well, but I think this one will be on Thursday night at Gene Cox. But Rickers plays a little bit different when they're at home. I like the way that they run the ball. This could be one of those where, you know, if Rickers can find a way to play, they've had a bad habit of letting teams back into the games late. And I think if they can get started early, they might have a chance. But Choctaw's been playing really good football right now. Indians sitting at 5-2 against, you know, their opponents have, you know, kind of been somewhat on par. But yeah, I for me, you know what? I'm gonna step out. Give me the Raiders at home. Give me the Raiders at home. I think they figure out a way to run the ball against the Indians.
Go ahead and pick the other team.
I'm going Rick on this one. South side up.
All right. Juke, is on you.
All right. You want to go last, Coach? I think that's fair.
I already picked. I picked first.
Okay. I was paying attention. I heard it. I heard it. Yeah, I'm going to go Mr. Contrarian here. They got a couple sensational sophomores. Vontavious Keller, the running back, and then also they recently switched to the sophomore quarterback. His name escapes me, so apologies, but he's been slinging, and ever since then it looked like they've been rolling a little bit the last couple games since he's taken over. So I hope they prove me wrong, but I'm going to take Choctaw on this one.
Yeah, Indians look really stout on offense, able to move the ball, and Rickers, that's not necessarily been their calling card this year. They've done enough to get the job done, but you can see, just, you know, look at the stat sheet, just Choctaw holds an edge offensively. But, you know, something tells me that if Rickers can figure out a way to get start fast like they're capable of doing, and really take advantage of the running game, I think that they will definitely have a chance to be able to edge Choctaw, but I think it'll be a close one. Indians have been playing very good football.
Awesome.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Try to get through the rest of the schedule. We got some huge games on this schedule still to come. Mariana taking on Leon. Lions are going to be outmatched here with the Bulldogs being at home, with the just the stout running game and the way that the Bulldogs have been playing. I'm going to have to definitely go Mariana on this one.
Which is Mark Mariana.
Yep, it's looking good for Mariana, gang. I'm going to hop on board. Man, okay. How about Leon, man? They got to play that big back at K-Row, and then they got to go play.
It's hard when you looking at the Lions schedule, it does not look favorable going down the stretch. It is very possible that Leon, never say never, you know, this is one of those things, you hate it for this program, but with Coach Mosley taking over at the time that he did, just the number of transfers really kind of hurt the Lions going through this season. But coming up for them, they've got Bradford, Childs, and then Westside out of Jacksonville after this Mariana game. So that's a tough schedule going down the stretch.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. But you never know, Mark. I think the first year we took over at FAMU High, I was looking at the schedule, and it was very difficult to find a win on it. And we happened to beat a team which was Bluntstown at the time. We thought they were one of the tougher teams that we had to play. And some kind of way, our kids came, they stuck their head up and they did what they had to do and won the game. So you never know until you play the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think of a couple of years ago, wasn't it Leon, the team that knocked off Mosley and spoiled that?
Yeah, they did.
The undefeated season late. I think Leon was like 3-7 that year. But also you wonder, because it's not just everything go. You know, people's got hurt in that St. John Paul II game 1 of the season. And, of course, he was one of the big reasons you liked Leon, is that offensive explosiveness. So where would they be? Because I do not think he has come back since game 1. You know, he's still around the team. He's still helping out with stuff from what I see on social media and following the squad. But unfortunately, you know, without your top dog, it's really tough to go forward. And like we talk about kind of every year, but this time of the season, are you healthy? Are your ballers good to go? And unfortunately, when those things aren't adding up, it's typically tough to get some wins in these district games and down the stretch.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those where Lions really, you know, they're just 1 or 2 guys away from potential turning some things around in some key positions, but going to be a tough road going forward. Moving forward, we got Lafayette taking on Branford. I'm gonna have to go with the Hornets on this one. I think they're due for a win. Definitely taking on Branford. I think that's a winnable game for them. So this is Branford, not Bradford. Bradford, one of the heavyweights in the state. So I had to double check that as well. But Lafayette will be taking on Branford, and I think this is a winnable game for the Hornets. Give me Lafayette in this one.
Mark, where they playing that game at?
Lafayette will be at home.
Well, I got Lafayette.
Isn't this a Monday game? I thought this got did this get pushed, or like this was rescheduled? This was a weird one, right?
Yeah. Let me check that again, because I was looking at the schedule, and it's just kind of one of those things where you really got to kind of, you know, pay attention, because there's been a lot of makeup games from the Hurricane, and that has really altered a lot of teams' schedule. A lot of teams have appended their schedules to put their games on the back end, kind of wedged them in the middle, but that's just kind of the way it goes. But let me take a look at this. 14th. So yeah, games on the 14th. That's a Monday. So yeah, best of luck on Monday Night Football. But I definitely like the Hornets in this one still. I think they get back on the winning side of things. And that should allow for, you know, really just, you know, for them to be able to kind of, you know, start seeing if they can eke back towards getting to 500 again on the year. Moving on around the area, this is the one where we were, you know, this is one that I did not think would be, you know, so big as it is. But this one between Mosley and Niceville is going to be a game. Just think last week where we were at Lincoln and Gaston County looking at the kind of heavyweight matchup that one was. This one's similar implications, because it is just as big of a game. Mosley had a week off to prepare, took the 6-0 record going into the bye, and it couldn't have come at a better time, because when you play Niceville, I don't care where you play them, you're going to have a game on your hands.
Yeah, that should be a heck of a matchup. I'm talking doing a media day. Mosley's coach was talking about, I think he came from, they're friends on their staff, so everybody know everybody. And it should be a heck of a matchup where when you know the other guy, you kind of know how he thinks. And then that's what make great matchups. You matching what you think he's going to do. And I think that will come out pretty good. I think Moses has a better team this year. There's a tremendous, from what I've seen early in the season, somebody thought they were going they were going to be in the region. And I have to agree with them. I know when I'm wrong, and they're pretty daggone good. They're pretty good.
Yeah, everybody's been talking about this game, especially down there in the Panama City area. It is it is looking to be like kind of like, get off work and just make it over to Tommy Oliver. The huge advantage that Mosley has getting Niceville at home. Looking at the way this district is played out, man, I got to go Dolphins. I like the way that they've been playing. I think they're getting Niceville at the right time in the right spot. Definitely like the way that Niceville's been playing. They definitely have an edge, but I think Mosley's ready to turn the corner and start proving to everyone else that, hey, we are one of the premier teams and one of the teams to beat in the area too. I got to go Dolphins on this one, especially at home. I think their home crowd is going to have it rocking. And looking at the playmakers, they match up so well with Niceville, and I think that they have so many different ways they can beat you. Great quarterback play out of Sammy Freitas. They've got excellent ground attack. Their offensive line knows what to do. Coach, we saw them play against a couple of opponents. Their receivers are down the field blocking very well. They create so much room for everybody to maneuver around. They just kind of bully you around. Got tight ends that get in on the action, and then the defense is playing absolutely lights out. I definitely like the matchup, but I'm going with Mosley on this one.
I'm with you on that, Mark. Watching them from the beginning of the year, less information. When I got more information, I changed my thought because I saw the way they handled Ricker's Raider team, and I was unbelievable. And I saw the way they manhandled on the front. When a team is good, if both of their sides of the ball on the fronts are good, they're going to be a good football team. And this, in Niceville, I saw some close games they played, and I think Mosley is really going. It's going to be a tough matchup for Mosley even to come out.
So which way you going, Mosley, Coach? Did I hear that right?
Of course, you picked Mosley at the first part of the season, and hey, I believe.
There you go. I mean, they checked all the boxes, right? So I'm not one for hot takes and rash decisions. Well, at least I don't think I am. But they finally got the breakthrough last year. I think going back to 2004, they had been 0-10 against Niceville. They finally got the win last year. I think Mosley's even better than they were a season ago. They added Williams to the mix, and so I have Mosley at home again, and I think 5A is going to run through Lynn Haven, gentlemen. But how about that big three? Region 1 and 5A, Niceville, Mosley, Lincoln.
Yeah, that is ferocious, and that's what we expect. This is why we get all excited this time of year, because October just shows you how good these teams really are. Look at this stat line right here: total yards per game. They are like dead even. Wow. This just shows you how well they match up. Mosley holding the edge in the passing game, Niceville holding the edge in the rushing attack. That's what you expect to see, but really that just that's the stat line that really defines it. This is a game that's definitely going to be close, in my opinion. If I had to call a score, I would definitely probably look at, and this might be the difference maker. We haven't talked about how good special teams are for both of these teams. Niceville has excellent special teams, and so does Mosley. I could see this really being 31-28 or something that comes down to a field goal. I like the way the Dolphins are playing at home, but this is one of those where I think Mosley, this game is going to mean so much, because this will put the winner into the driver's seat of that district, and then expect a rematch. Now, I do think that the Trojans may have something to say down the road, but we really don't know where seeding is going to fall, because games like this matter so much in your rankings. I just look for them to play each other twice this year. Now, whether it's going to be at Niceville or back at Tommy Oliver, I think this is one of the first steps that will determine that. So, this is going to be one of those games where I got circled on my calendar. Let's go ahead and jump back into the schedule. Hamilton County taking on Hilliard. Man, Trojans really in battle this year. But I'm gonna have to go with them. I think they're at home. Give me the Trojans.
I'm gonna go opposite just because you picked Trojans. You can't catch somebody picking the same team. I don't know much about Hilliard, but I'm going with Hilliard.
Yeah, is this this is one of those games in kind of that questionable zone that a lot of them had been delayed. Pending the game is still on and they play it, I'm gonna go Hamilton. Hilliard's still winless, and I think Trojans just enough to get by Hilliard offensively. So I'm gonna roll with Hamilton.
All right, moving on around the area, another big time matchup. We got Reigns taking on undefeated Reigns taking on the Madison County Cowboys. And man, this one, honestly, this is great timing for Madison County to get Reigns at home. Vikings coming across I-10 to take on Madison County. This is going to be a great matchup. Looking at how Reigns has played, they just absolutely dominated their opponents this season. They are definitely back into the driver's seat of being one of the premier teams coming out of Jacksonville. I think Madison really, in a lot of ways, I think they got tripped up in an area that really frustrated them last week because they ran into a team that's similar to them in the same way that Reigns is similar to them. This could be, kind of like where, are they going to be playing another Lincoln where, this team's going to come out and start fast, or are they going to be able to kind of play their brand of football and really be able to take on the Vikings at home? This is going to be a tough one. And I think that Madison has kind of been the Lincoln situation kind of put them in a Jekyll and Hyde situation because you really expect Madison to show up in a game like this, but you're not really sure the way things could go given the fact that they are playing one of the many tougher teams on their schedule.
Yeah, it really going into the season. I talked to some people down there, my friends and relatives, and they all Reigns fans, and they're excited about their team this year. And I'm gonna pick them this week to come into Boot Hill and take a victory. Reigns is a solid program for years. They've always been the winners. They've always come out going in tough places and winning. They won a couple of state titles. You talking about a great program for football, and I'm gonna have to go with them this week.
Yeah, I honestly, this is one of those where you're looking at the who's got the best mobile quarterback. Both teams, run a similar style of play with their quarterback having the option to run or pass. I think for Madison, their defense is going to have to step up and really try to, stop what is something that they should be used to with trying to shut down a mobile quarterback. With that being said, I like Madison at Boot Hill. I just think that they figure out a way to get it done. And I'm stepping out on the limb again, but I think that the two things that stand out to me is one, they're playing, like I said, they're playing a mobile quarterback. Lincoln was a little bit different in that they mixed up how their looks and how they attacked you, especially spreading the ball around. They had different running backs that could get into the mix. The Reigns offense runs through Timothy Cole. So he's been putting up big numbers, but it's very apparent that this is the guy that's getting done. And if they can key in on him and come up with some stops, I definitely like them at home because Madison plays very scrappy, very great football on defense. They push pace to the wire in a very close game on the road. So I think I like them at home. And I think, for Reigns, they haven't been outside of if I'm looking at the schedule correctly, I don't know that they've been on the road that much this year. Let me take a look.
I don't think that they've left the city limits of Jacksonville, Mark, because they played. They haven't left Jacksonville.
Yeah, they haven't. You do realize Jacksonville is the biggest city in the country. I mean, you don't have to leave. You're gonna travel.
I totally get it. I think that's a great point. But when you look at that you were going into a very rural, hostile environment because Boo Hill, I don't care where. I mean, I definitely give Lincoln credit for what they did earlier in the season, but that's a rarity. That hardly ever happens. And I think Madison, given the fact that they've been on the road, I think they take advantage of the home environment and they find a way to get it done. I think it'll be close though. Both teams very much. I would say Reigns has more of the high-powered offense, but it's tough to say right now. But I definitely like what Madison has been able to put together defensively. I think they're able to right the ship in this one.
Yeah, I'm with Coach on this one. I hate to do it, and I was hoping because I know this one originally got or was thinking about getting scratched when Jacksonville was in kind of the path of the hurricane. So if this, once again, caveat of if this game still gets played this week, I got to go Reigns. Like we said, they haven't left Jacksonville, but I think they are the best that Jacksonville has to offer. They beat Trinity Christian. They beat Bowles. They beat Sandalwood. They smoked Rebolt in the Northwest Classic. And I think
seeing that game played in the middle of the year.
Oof, yeah, a little odd, but not towards the
end. You ever
end.
been to one of those games?
Not in person.
I had an opportunity to go there, and it's like a college football game, the two schools, and we were sitting in the wrong booth, and they ran us out of there. It was like, you wearing the other school colors, you got to leave. And I'm like, really? I mean, they take it so serious. I'm out of town. I got up and went somewhere else. But they take that game real serious. It's just like a college football game.
And it has the unique, or it did have the unique experience of being played on a Saturday at the end of the season. It just was a great atmosphere. You get out there early on Saturday morning at tailgating. Been out there a couple of times. Just a great atmosphere. But yeah, got played in the middle of the season. So that will be a very, very exciting game to watch. So meanwhile, moving along, we got Chipley at NEFI. Give me the Tigers. I like what they've been. They're just a really good, scrappy defensive team, and I like Chipley in this one.
Not being too familiar with NEFI, I'll go with Chipley.
Okay.
And they're pretty good too, so it doesn't.
Yeah, except for that J game, the defense has basically been unbeatable this season. I don't know that NFI, looking at them and diving into them a little bit, if they have enough to take down Chipley. I think it's too mean. And I hear this one got moved to Saturday. It got kicked back. So this will be a fun one. But defense travels. So Chipley take a little bit of a road trip, but I'm on with the Tigers as well.
Yep. All right, All-Silla Christian taking on LPCA. I'm going Warriors in this one. Like them at home. LPCA has played Jefferson. They have played Jay, I think, and they've played Cottondale. And the scores were all indicative of what we know. I just think that, honestly, this is one of those where if they can get past this team, I think this will be a close one, but I like All-Silla Christian at home. The schedule looks very favorable for All-Silla. They've got a big game against Franklin County to close out the year, but I'm going to go with Warriors on this one.
I'm with you on that, Mark. I'm going with All-Silla. They've been having a pretty good season. I don't think nothing will change this week. They'll be on. I'm sure. I don't know what the rankings is for the polls and stuff, but they're like they're on the roll this year.
Yeah, All-Silla, another team getting absolutely no love in the ranks. So, Coach, they're undefeated, 6-0, 10th in rural ball right now. If the playoffs started today, All-Silla has to go to Madison County. That is their opening game to start the playoffs.
They need to win and move up a little bit.
Yeah, they need some of those points. I'm going the other way on this one. I'm going to go with Lighthouse PCA. Something is in the water. I know Osceola has taken care of Lighthouse pretty handily, as a lot of our area teams, but I think Lighthouse is on the up and up. I like the quarterback Jackson, the wide receiver Johnson. They went off against Jefferson County, combined for over 100 and a couple touchdowns. I thought they showed some promise. La Rosa, I know, is slinging it over there at Osceola. I mean, I think he's coming off of 5-touchdown game himself. But I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. But I got to go Lighthouse.
Okay. Yeah.
That used to be one of them teams you mark off. That's the only way to get it up.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We're going to the bottom half of the slate. Arnold taking on Fort Walton Beach. Man, Arnold at home against the Vikings. I'm going Marlins on this one.
Man, that's going to be tough. I watched 2 games that Fort Walton Beach played and watched 2 that Arnold played. I didn't get a feel for neither one of them because they lost one and they won the other one. Both teams I saw. Arnold had a problem scoring against one of the opponents, and Fort Walton Beach didn't do much better. This should be a nice, low-scoring football game. Let's go with the new kids on the block. Go with Arnold.
Oh, okay.
You can pick Fort Walton if you
Rocking it. No, Coach, I thought you guys would be going the other way. So Arnold lost this game 56-0 last year. They've lost 6 of the last 8, but I'm liking Mac Jones, the tackling machine, leads 4A in tackles, the middle linebacker. I know the offense hasn't been where you want it, Coach, but I think Will Cotter has just enough to get Arnold over the hump. I like them over Fort Walton Beach. Big district game with a collision course with, I believe, Rickards, right? Rickards is our team with them.
Yeah, I think so. Common opponent.
Wow.
Could
So,
be.
I'm not sure, Mark. You can look that up.
Yes, that's correct. Sorry. Yeah, that district is these 2, Arnold, Fort Walton Beach, Choctaw Rickards. So Choctaw Rickards will be playing one half, and this game will be playing. So if you flip that,
if all they got, you know what I'm saying?
Do it, Coach. Finish it. That's it.
If Rickards win, we'll be on our way to the playoffs.
Yeah. If Rickards wins and Fort Walton wins, Rickards can clinch the division this weekend. Or district. Sorry, not the division, the district.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
It should be an interesting matchup. I think they're 2 evenly matched teams, so it could go either way.
All right, last 2 games. Bay taking on West Florida. Bay is at home. They found something in the sauce that allowed them to pick up 2 wins on the season, most recently against Pensacola. That was on the road to get West Florida at home. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, West Florida is they're 2-4 too. So they have similar records. I'm going to go with the Tornadoes at home in this one.
Oh. Let me think about it, Juke. You go.
Okay. That's fair. Coach, this was the most frustrating game on the schedule. It's a Thursday night game. I don't know if I've ever seen 2 teams in a single season be so similar. Records, gameplay, style, scoring, strength of schedule, every single metric you can flip out. They are so close. And then you look at them on film, I feel like you could just switch the jerseys and you couldn't tell which team was which. But I like Xavier Morgan and Toombs here, and I think it's just enough, so I'm going to roll with the Tornadoes. But I said Bozeman Port St. Joe was the toughest one. I may have been lying earlier because I feel like I cannot tell these 2 teams apart.
Yeah. I've seen both of them play. I'm like you. I'm gonna just go with the home team, Bay.
Yeah, I like Tornadoes in this one. I think they're able to kind of get some stuff going. So let's move on to the last game on the slate. Blountstown taking on Dixie County, and this is how this played out earlier today, actually, with just the hurricane coming through. It's just one of those things where they didn't know if they were going to be able to get it in, but now it's going to happen on Saturday. My bad. So Coach Harris at Madison County looking for a game, trying to see if somebody wants to jump in and say they can host. Assistant Coach Biddy out at Taylor County got word that Dixie County canceled because of the hurricane impending. And then, we had to chime in. Of course, didn't Dixie County have a game against Blountstown because that was on the schedule? And of course, Brad Wagner, head coach at Blountstown, confirms, yes, game is still on the schedule. But of course, this is the Hollywood Shuffle everybody trying to do because of the hurricane. So it is what it is. But with that being said, I'm gonna have to go. Man, as much as everything got shuffled and moved around, I look at Blountstown and I'm like, man, they've been playing a lot of Jekyll and Hyde this year. 3-2 on the year. They had the big letdown to WS Neal on the road previously before they got back in the winning side of things against Sneeze. And then looking at Dixie County's record, the Bears are 2-4, so they're also a little bit of an enigma in my mindset. But I'm going Tigers on this one.
Well, I think the Tigers are pretty good, so I'm going with Blountstown.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a wild ride, looking like I believe a Saturday game, gentlemen.
Yeah,
so that's always fun.
Going down on Saturday.
Change of schedule, a little bit of chaos. So I like going with the home team. Give me the Tigers.
Oh, those are the Cards. I was wondering what happened to him. I was like, I know you got a few made. But man, that will do it for this week's elongated edition of the Extra Point. Try to break down some games differently and give everybody a little bit some more chunks of information, talk about some X's and O's. Appreciate everybody who jumped in. Will McLeod, thanks for the comments, man. We appreciate it. But yeah, for my crew, I guess this is really gonna put a lot of things in perspective as we get closer to the end of the season here, as we begin to round out the remainder of what really is shaping up to be an exciting playoff run for a lot of teams. We still got a lot of football left to play. Those last 4 weeks of the regular season, they always prove a lot in the area. And we got a lot of parity, especially on the 1A rural side. But man, the 3A is looking like a monster. 5A is looking like a monster. This is definitely going to keep us entertained with weeks to come. But yeah, we appreciate everybody keeping up with us for the wild ride. But this has been the Extra Point. For 4 Quarters Online, I'm Mark Adams and my 2 tag team partners, as always, Coach Cofield and Andrew Jupe. We will catch everybody next week on another edition of the Extra Point podcast, breaking down high school football here in the North Florida area.